afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Vibhav, I'm sure you'd agree with me when I say that we live in very interesting times. Because if there's one word that defines the entire business environment today, it is volatility. So we are entering this next growth decade of India at a time when the world order is anything but stable. We have geopolitical war raging. We also have the very jittery energy markets post the Middle East conflict. And we're also seeing that the supply chains are being rerouted. Also, capital is being used very cautiously. So this is a time when the business growth is not just about speed and scale, but also about resilience and energy security. So Vibhav, like I said, we live in very interesting times. And as someone who's heading a business here in Maharashtra, I'm sure you would have seen how the states today are driving the vision for Viksit Bharat 2047. And Maharashtra is a front runner as a contributor to the GDP by over 14%. It's also the financial powerhouse, the economic powerhouse, the nerve center of all financial systems in India. So what is it that you think organizations need to build a successful business in Maharashtra?
First and foremost, thank you for having me here and for this session. And as the theme of this session goes, that scale, speed, and sustainability. Obviously, I was just listening to my previous speakers, and people were just talking about how Maharashtra has become one of the most favored destination for the industries. That speaks volume of being in Maharashtra and for us, because we have our headquarters and our large operations here in Maharashtra. So we see Maharashtra as India's most mature ecosystem, the most stable and investor-friendly state under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, because the ecosystem which he has created in last few years has been tremendous, and it is a testimony of why Maharashtra actually is still most attractive for the industries and for us as well. And you know that state, because of all those initiatives which government has taken under the Chief Minister's leadership, it contributes nearly 14% of the GDP. And it grows at the rate of nearly 7.9%, if I'm not wrong, and which is more than the national average. So that stands out clearly in favor of Maharashtra as the most important hotspot for the investor in India. Now, there are 5 factors which defines Maharashtra as, according to me, which is basically the strong policy support, the ecosystem which gives a lot of certainty, regulatory certainty and policy certainty.
The ease of doing business.
Yeah. Obviously. And then the world-class infrastructure, the great connectivity, and obviously availability of skill and talent in the state. And the most important part, because we are in Maharashtra, it is a great financial hub and the investor ecosystem. So unparalleled to any other place in India. So these are the areas which I think makes Maharashtra the most attractive state, and especially in these kind of times, this also adds to a lot of resilience which gives to the businesses. So we feel very happy and safe to be in Maharashtra.
Absolutely. So resilience is a very key, economic truth and also a social cultural truth in the state of Maharashtra. Absolutely. Now, Vibhav, Essar has also been through a balance sheet reset. You've traditionally been in sectors like energy, infrastructure, metal mining, also retail and industrials. So what in this new era is going to be the next, what is going to drive the next phase of growth for SR Group now?
It's a good question. Let me first talk about SR a bit, because we are one of the global conglomerate with a diversified portfolio across energy, infrastructure, metals and mining, retail and technology. And we have nearly 15 billion US dollars in annual revenue. The group is now focused in new avatar, we call it SR 2.0, on next phase of growth, largely coming through transforming and modernizing our existing portfolio, and also investing in new platforms which are, I would say, focusing on the, the smart mobility, the future fuel or energy transition, you call them, and digital infrastructure. Now, if we talk about our presence in these, I would say in energy, we run one of the most advanced refinery in the world, which is in the UK and cater to nearly 20% of the energy requirement there. And focusing completely on, building this refinery as low carbon refinery. In infrastructure, we have Essar Port, which has a capacity of nearly 60 million ton right now. And we have plans to increase this to 200 million ton per annum. In metals and mining, we have one of our biggest footprint in US with large DR grade iron ore pellet capacity coming on stream in sometime soon. And in technology and retail, I'm happy to in fact tell you this, that we have a company named Black Box, which caters to 20% of global Fortune 500 clients. So out of 500 clients, we serve nearly 100 clients over 35 countries. So this is the footprint which we are creating. And in India, of course, we have this business on the EV and LNG trucks, which is also expanding and leaving its imprints on the decarbonization side.
Right. So clearly you want to be at the center of the next generation energy value chain, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So then let's talk about energy. It's arguably the most critical variable right now, especially after the Middle East conflict. You're accelerating your energy transition journey with and a focus especially on Maharashtra and Gujarat. So what will define the success in building these energy transitions for your group?
So it's a very interesting question. I would say success in energy transition would be driven by two factors. Is it scalable? Is it viable? And can this be adapted on a very large scale? This is one. And obviously, it should also be built for not only domestic, but for the global market. So these are the areas which defines the success when it comes to energy transition. Now, as you know, if I talk about SR Group, we have our presence in the green mobility business, and that's what we are intending to grow at a rapid pace. And Maharashtra has been, I would say, our base for growing this business, where we started our investment in Blue Energy Motors. And then we have started our fleet operations in a green line mobility solutions. So these are two important businesses which we started in Maharashtra on the energy side. Now we also intend to set up a biorefinery in India, which will cater to the global market, and that's going to be a mega investment with 1 million ton initial capacity, scaling it up further, converting waste into wealth. So that's something which we intend to do right now, focusing the biorefinery business for producing sustainable aviation fuel. And that is going to be the only solution visible on a global scale to decarbonize the aviation industry.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. So let me end by looking ahead as this next growth decade plays out. What would be some of your plans around investment in Maharashtra? Because Maharashtra and Mumbai will continue to drive economic growth for the country. So what would be SR's investment plans in the next decade?
See, Maharashtra is a very important state for us. We call it our home state because we have our headquarters here. And as I mentioned earlier, that the nerve center of our UK operations is in Navi Mumbai.
For Stanlow, right?
The Stanlow.
Yeah.
So, which is the second largest refinery in the UK. Third, as I said, our footprint is in and around Pune area, where we are having this green mobility business. Besides our existing businesses, we plan to have, and I was just listening very patiently to Mr. Anvalgam previously, and he was mentioning about government's focus being in Vidarbha and that part of Maharashtra. So obviously, we have our plans to have a large investment in the district of Gadchiroli, where we are going to have one of the largest integrated steel plant. So that is one area, and we have signed a couple of MOUs this year at Davos for our mega investments in Maharashtra. This is one. Second is also in Mumbai metropolitan region, we are intending to have our gas to chemical projects. That's also going to be a mega investment and one of its kind. And as you know, that Essar has always been known for setting up businesses ahead of its time. So obviously, we are focusing that gas to chemical also in that MMR region. Besides that, we are also focusing on the large data center in MMR. And let me also tell you that in Black Box, we are one of the biggest enabler of helping the large scalers, the mega scalers, to develop their data centers. And now we have our plan to do it for ourselves in India and also in other places as well. Now, besides these core businesses, we also have our plans for doing something socially. So we have our plans for investments in education and the wellness center in and around Mumbai, particularly in Lonavala. So that's another area where we are quite keen to pursue. And then our investment in Maharashtra spans across, I would say, manufacturing, the energy, digital services, and now we intend to enter into the social infrastructure creation also.
That's a great way of giving back to the society. Because if the previous decade of business growth was all about scale and also globalization, this will be about sustainability, self-reliance, securing energy, and also making sure that you're able to navigate the uncertainty, because capital discipline is going to be very important in a high-risk world like the one that we are living in. Thank you so much, Vibhav, for your sharp insights, for giving us a sneak peek and a snapshot into what you're doing in terms of clean energy. How are you trying to diversify into more critical areas that are required to power the next decade of growth for India? Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us. It's been wonderful listening to you. Can we have a huge round of applause for Vibhav? Thank you, everyone. You've been a very patient and attentive audience. Thank you.
Thank you.